welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Dune Sea, a show all about that galaxy far, far away and beyond. My name's Seth.
And I'm Konnor. Look at that. What in the world? That's cool.
What's happening?
That's neat.
What's going on, guys? We're trying new things.
Look at that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a lively discussion about Andor.
Look at that.
Andor Season 2, Episodes 3 through 6.
I like those Star Wars movies.
Yeah, right? Yeah. The original trilogy of Andor.
Exactly.
Something like that, right?
That.
How's everybody doing? I see a couple of you guys in here. Mm-hmm. Divided Skywalker. Did it start? I accidentally paused it somehow. It started, brother.
Oh, we're here.
We're here.
Hopefully we started.
Yeah. Hello, Matthew. Hello, Sergio. Fright. Yeah. Well, that's a fun spelling of that, by the way. Bill Rooklin, sorry, the one time we're on time, right? He's
Sorry, man.
So good to see you guys in here.
Yes.
Seth, we had some new Star Wars this week, as we are going to have for a little while.
Yes.
Here, right?
We got a lot of new Star Wars.
We do.
Yes.
We're going to be going, take it to the mics again here on Sunday.
Yes.
Which is crazy, right?
Yes.
But hey, we're here to talk about Andor Season 2, Episodes 3 through 6. And I'm going to jump right into my 1 minute review. I'm going to break tradition.
Sure.
So just because I'm fired up.
The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Okay.
The floor is yours.
Here is, so last week, you guys know, we kind of were like, I don't know, is this hitting? You know, it's great, but it's getting a little dark in places. I don't know. Is this the right fit? And I tried, I really took away not only our conversation, but the conversation with the folks at home. Like, you know what? Let's stop being like that. Let me just accept what this is.
This is what Andor is.
Yeah. You know, and like, let's just see how much I can enjoy it. And I got to say that the changing my own perspective really did a lot, I think. And to speak more specifically about the arc, I thought it started to solidify for me how Andor really fits into the epic that is Star Wars. Like, I can kind of see, it's like the puzzle pieces, it hasn't quite slapped in yet, but I could see the edges. I could see where it fits. It's like, okay, if you can land it, if you guys don't mess up the laser cutting on the other side, maybe we can really hit this. I think this arc, we got the same brilliant writing, the same great performances and style, but I felt that we took that kind of Star Wars DNA up a notch. And I don't just mean iconography, because we got that cool shot of the X-Wings. I don't just mean that. I don't just mean we saw some stormtroopers, because we actually saw less. Not that. I mean like that magic underneath the hood. You know what I mean?
May I for a moment?
Yeah.
May I? I think it's too that like just the topic does fit a little bit more like akin to Star Wars.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, continue.
Thank you.
Yes.
The floor is back to me.
It's
right?
back to you.
So the monologues from Vel and Saw in particular, they felt really grand and otherworldly, which is like a staple of Star Wars, right? Saw's in particular, I'm excited to talk about that. We have I think the themes are starting to really line up perfectly with where we are in Rogue One and A New Hope. And what I mean by that is like the scales are increasing, and I think we're really getting close to where we need to be in Rogue One. That's really exciting to see how we're going to kind of close that gap. I think we're still dealing with heavy themes. It didn't, it's not gone Weenie Hut Jr. on us like that, nothing like that. Right. So, but at the same time, I feel like it's a little more reserved than last week, which I appreciate personally. Like I know we kind of came last week to say like, different strokes for different folks, which is a horrible way to say that, I guess, because of the heavy themes that we were dealing with last week. But what I mean is like, some people felt very inspired, very empowered by that, even though that wasn't something I really wanted to see in Star Wars. I think this week I was picking up more what Andor was putting down and kind of putting my own biases aside for the moment. So, and kind of wrap up my review, it's just the plot points are predictable in my opinion, but they're satisfying. I don't think that everything needs to have like crazy twists or anything. I think beats are moving in the direction that we expect, but at the same time, I think Tony's really playing with the viewer's expectations, as we'll get into with things like Syril and that kind of great delivery of information there in the beginning and what Gorman is leading to. And I think that all of that meticulous storytelling is because of how predictable the main beats are. And that's really fun. I think it's fun that they're able to play with that. And so I guess my thesis is like, more than anything, I've stopped hanging on to the things that don't feel like Star Wars and just started embracing the things that do. You know what I mean?
It's mature of you.
Yeah. Hopefully taking a page from Andor.
Hopefully I could do that too.
Yeah, right. Hit me. 1 minute review.
So I liked this more than the last one. I think what my biggest takeaway from all of this is, hey, Star Wars does fit into another genre. That, Mando's a Western, Ahsoka's a samurai show. The Skeleton Crew deals with pirates. I didn't realize that Star Wars kind of does work as a spy thriller, in which we've had, espionage missions in Star Wars already that kind of lends itself to that. But this is like straight up Oceans or Bridge of Spies. I got major Oceans vibes for sure. Yeah. And, but yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I think that they're really doubling down on this whole Syril and Cassian being kind of like two halves to a coin, basically, with their stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of mirroring going on, which is really great.
Yes. Yeah. And so there was that with the first season too, with like how both of their experiences, and then they ended up together. And I think that they're going to end up together again, because they almost hit each other. They were almost on plan at the same time in this episode.
I know. And that was really exciting.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that, I think that has to happen at some point. So yes, overall, I did like it.
Good.
Yes. Yeah. I enjoyed more than I didn't enjoy.
There you go. That's all we could ask from Seth, I think.
It's
sometimes.
true. It's like... Look at that. His pot grew 3 sizes that day.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like what Kate said here. Last week, they were just preheating the oven. Yeah.
Yeah?
100%. Yeah. I really thought they cooked this week.
Yeah. And I think that next week's going to be like, this was really good building blocks for next week.
Yeah.
Because I think next week's going to be,
I mean, that's 2 BBY, and we know that's when the Gorman massacre happens.
Yes, and we've seen footage of stormtroopers like running into
the plaza
the plaza. So it's like, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So do you think we're going to get Tarkin?
Going to get Tarkin in this story?
We might get Tarkin?
I would be surprised. Although, well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think when Gilroy's talked about like the recasting thing, which we'll talk about it, that I swore that he's used plural there. Like he had to recast multiple legacy characters, and there's very few I think that would fit here.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it Tarkin? I mean, I don't really foresee. I mean, Jyn doesn't really fit in this story.
No.
If she does, no, she really can't. Not at this point.
No, I'd assume too that she's probably out getting arrested again. Not in the same spot, but that like she's left Saw Gerrera at this point.
Right. Yeah. So maybe we'll see. Maybe.
I just was curious.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I like the man.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he is great.
Get that guy who played him in Revenge of the Sith. Or you know what? The guy who played him in Rogue One. Like without the CG, he just looked great.
Yeah.
Bring him in,
Doesn't need to talk. I mean, we know who he was.
Yeah. I mean, even if he does talk, he's great. I mean, he did the voice.
It's true. You may fire when ready. I mean, like, he's great. Like, that's all you need to do. Yeah. That we know who it is.
Maybe it's my altered perspective that I went in to this week, but I don't know. I just really felt that it was hitting beats that I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm picking up what you're throwing down, Andor. Like, I get it. I'm sorry that it's taken me a while, because I guess what I'm saying is like the first season I thought was good, like really well written, but it didn't have a lot of that connecting tissue. And we've talked about this ad nauseum, but I just, even thematically, of course, uprising on the planet, which is great. But now that I'm seeing how Andor season 2 is handling it, I'm like, oh, I really appreciate season 1 a lot more. And I'm excited to watch Rogue One because I'm like, wow, this really is, I'll give credit to Gilroy and team. I don't know if this was all planned or what, but it really does feel like we're flowing in a way that like is a lot more seamless than I expected.
And you know how like, The Hobbit, you're supposed to just put in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, sure.
But it doesn't always make you want to just put in Lord of the Rings. Like, does that make sense? How it ends? Yeah. That it ends how The Hobbit ends, how Lord of the Rings begins. This does actually seem like we're moving in the right direction where it's like, dude, put on Rogue One.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like, it feels seamless and it's close enough since Rogue One.
Yeah.
That I think that you're not going to have any kind of uncanny valley because people are 10 years older and stuff like that. Yeah.
Everybody clip that. Seth just gave a compliment to Rogue One. You heard it here first.
Wow.
I'm with you. It's cool to see how this is all being laid out. Because I know we were really worried going into this season that Cassian's got to kind of come back to being this person that we see, like who's willing to just execute a guy in cold blood in the beginning of Rogue One.
Oh, what's going to happen.
What's that? Oh,
you know.
Yeah, we know. I think we know how it's going to get there.
Oh, you know. It's gonna get
But now it's slowly becoming more and more believable. Like I said, it's like those puzzle pieces. Like, okay, I'm seeing. Like where when the puzzle piece was over here.
Are you like that? Are you like Luthid's?
Yeah.
You're just trying to get
like
the
Clea.
Yes.
I'm like moving the puzzle pieces. Like, there it is. There's the
there
spot.
It is. You can hear it. Oh, there it is.
A great question from Sergio. Could this possibly alter your tier for Rogue One?
No.
Wow. Yeah, no from Seth. Maybe. I mean, I was a lot hotter on it after we rewatched it than Seth was.
I really like that third act. I do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
Heater.
It's just that like stuff getting there sometimes.
Yeah, it is a slow movie. But you know what? Part of the reason it's slow, in my opinion, is because you don't care so much about these characters. Now that I have an attachment to Cassian, I'm like,
but he's only
maybe
in the
it's
movie, some of it.
Enough. You know, we'll see. He was in this fight since he was 6 years old, Seth.
I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
Yeah. So first thing I want to talk about, kind of a mini beat here, is about the episodic structure of this. I do think this is where things are missing a tad, because like, okay, we went through the first arc and I'm down with everything that it was putting down. But here I'm like, okay, I get how character-wise it was important to see where all of our characters were in that first arc, in that day or whatever, 2 days that took place. Mm-hmm. Like, it's important to see why Bix is the way that she is now. It's important to see why Cassian is the way he is, where he's like, he doesn't want to risk anything with Bix. I get all that. I just wish there would have been a bit more of a marriage between character and story, because I really feel, at least as of now, maybe we're going to see later. But like, what happened to the TIE fighter? Was that important? Was that not important?
Know who they left and who hasn't come back?
Yep, B2.
B2, my boy,
right.
is just gone. Not even a mention.
I know. Yeah. Again, I'm going to wait.
Dirty.
I'm going to wait because they can tie all these things together next week.
I doubt it. But I mean, because now I feel like you're going to be another year. You got to be tying stuff back to this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just, and I will say that I don't like that about it. Because I think that it's kind of clunky, but I don't know. Show me what you got.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Individually, the arcs have great pacing.
They do.
Like the 3 episodes build really well. And even thematically, they build well onto each other. It's just, I guess I wanted a little more connective tissue with like what happened to that TIE fighter. Yeah. Why was it so important?
Yeah.
Why was it so necessary for Cassian to go through that?
Again,
you know,
I think it was so he could get his friends off planet. Yeah. That's why it had a back seat.
Maybe. And maybe that's really the only purpose.
I think that's literally, I didn't want it to be.
Yeah.
But I really feel like that was its only purpose.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Gorman has definitely been the through line here.
Oh, yes.
And we've seen a lot of that. But I don't know. That's really my only complaint this week is that I wish that, this is what they did with that TIE fighter. Now the Rebellion has all of these new Star Path units, or as all these, you know, they've reverse engineered
A-wings or something.
Yeah. Even something like that. Because I thought at first when Willman is there on Saw Gerrera's planet on Dakar, I thought that's what he was working on at first. I was like, is this something from the Avenger? Is this what happened?
Yeah.
But unfortunately.
Hey, shout out to Dakar. I think that's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you were talking about connective tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Finn and Poe are going to talk to each other in a little bit from there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fun. That it's like,
it's
and
cool.
Leia, like, as soon as I saw it, like, in the background, I'm like, I feel like I've been, the jacket.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was fun. The Saw stuff was some of my favorite stuff this week.
I think that has actually been the most I've liked him.
Me too,
and
actually.
This is easily the most unhinged he's been.
Yeah, for sure.
But for some reason, I've liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James is saying, I wonder if the TIE Avenger storyline is meant to connect more in mood or tone than that's kind of what I'm getting at is like, I can see the through line with it thematically.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes there's a disconnect between character and story. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, I wish that there was a little bit more like what Kate's saying here. I feel like the TIE was supposed to be more of a run of the mill mission and only a small part of the rebellion's entire mission. Yeah. I get that. And that's not, it's a nitpick. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it would have been nice to see where that led. Mm-hmm. Like just because they're so adamant about this, like it's very intentional rather about this 4 arc, 1 year a piece structure. It's like, why do we need to jump a year each time? And I get it with Gorman. It makes sense because we're building to that ultimately next week. And then as I imagine the year after is the fallout of that.
As Gorman falls, the Death Star rises.
Yes, and the rebellion officially rises. And I am so excited to see Mon Mothma tell off Emperor Palpatine. That's going to be so fun to see that in live action.
You think it's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I just
didn't know if maybe you see the other half of the story.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Well, and then you're supposed to go watch Rebels.
Bold claim. Yeah. I think if there's a possibility of any legacy character showing up other than Bail Organa, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Hera, because that's like the one sort of through line that I can really see from the Spectre crew. Because I mean, she gets picked up right after that.
It's true.
And it's going to butt up real. I'm really interested to see how they do that.
Where she's not on Gorman though when it happens, is she?
No, I don't think so. But they pick her up though, and I don't remember.
She's like mad, right? Like she's like, yeah.
Well, the Imperials are chasing her because she renounces herself from the Imperial Senate. She sends out that thing,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
And it's like, okay, where are we gonna?
Yeah. Then they grab her.
Like, how close are we going to get to that moment in Rebels? I'm really curious because it's been a while since I've seen that arc in Rebels, but I would assume Hera was the one who made contact with Mon Mothma, and I don't know. I just think that would be a cool through line. Don't need it. It's just that'd be neat to see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the season will end with the Ghost picking her up. Maybe. Well, we're going one more year, so maybe next week, if they're going to do it, it would have to be next week, I think. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. And you know where I want to start?
Where
the arc starts with our friendly neighborhood couple. How about that? Got to turn the lights out for this conversation.
They dance in the dark.
Yeah.
Well, Cassian and Bix dance in the light. Wow. Didn't know I needed to know that. Star Wars. I didn't know that I needed to know that.
This is what I'm talking about being a little more reserved. That's fun. I like that.
No, that's good. I'm fine with that.
Great stuff.
Yeah. And I didn't even really mind the dancing and the passionate moments that we got in this episode. It was fine.
Well, I mean, add a little John Williams in there, and that's Han and Leia on the Falcon.
It's true. Yeah.
So I thought it was great. I thought it handled very tastefully. I liked it a lot.
I thought.
So this is where I was like, okay, Gilroy, I see you. Okay. And it's because this opened up with Syril on Gorman and just the slow trickle of information. Because it's like I can almost see Tony sitting behind my TV being like, yeah, you think something's going on with Syril, huh? Oh, they broke up? Oh, how did that happen? And then he's like a mom on Christmas.
It's you remind me of Peter and Spider-Man 3, where it's like, oh, how'd that get there?
Yeah. I mean, basically, right. And then as soon as you get like the reveal of what Cyril's really doing there, then he's like, oh, man, maybe you stuck around. You would have realized what we were putting down. I just thought that was great. I mean, a great just beat for beat, because you're like, okay, Cyril's on Gorman. Okay, that means Dedra's on Gorman too. She's not. They broke up. Like, and somebody's tapping his phones, and now he's not so loyal to the Empire. Wow, did he really have that much of a face turn in a year? That's crazy.
No.
And then that moment where you're like,
our boy's scum.
Yeah,
he's worse than scum.
So good. I loved that.
I really enjoyed him these 3 episodes, and I'll be real, I have not enjoyed him at all, but I'm really curious to see where this is going. And my heart almost went out to him a little bit, because I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen to you? Yeah. Because I don't think your girl cares about anything.
Or really, she was talking to Partagaz about it too. Like, exactly. I know he's on a short leash.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he even said that it's like, he can't know about what actually is going on. It's like, oh no, is he just going to end up being collateral damage in the end? So yeah.
And it also helped fix a gap that the only sort of slow moment and part where I was like, I don't understand this is in the first arc. Like, why do we need this dinner scene with his parents? And it's like, it wasn't about Dedra. It was more about Syril, and showing now when he's speaking to her every week, to his mom every week, great through line. And it's all right, Gilroy. All right. I'll trust you. You know what you're doing.
It's weird how he pays off things like that, but then like, we're going to leave B2 out of it all completely.
It's not over yet, Seth.
I know it's not, but I'm just saying, it's just weird how he pays off some things, but not other things. That's all I'm getting at.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying. And maybe I'm just being like, maybe you could say that I'm trying to ruin Christmas. That's the whole thing. I don't want to ruin Christmas.
Yeah, you're stupid in the closet because you're not finding that present that mom got you.
Yeah,
and you're like, dang it, mom. And it's like, well, just wait, because she put it under the bed this time. I know there's
an N64 here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I really liked how all that was laid, and it was fun to watch Syril. Like, he's in his element right now. You know, he's doing like espionage and all this stuff, and like getting to know the leaders of the Gorman Resistance, the Gorman Front, I think is what they're called, right? Really fun to watch that progression, and with Dedra and seeing the machinations of the Imperials, because now you're learning a lot about her, and it's like, oh, nobody knows that she's on Gorman. Nobody knows, like, on the project. Yeah. Nobody knows that. That's interesting.
It's weird that, like, she doesn't say a word during any of those meetings. She just sits there.
Yeah. Because she's, as far as everybody knows, she's just been kind of pushed off to the side.
Exactly.
Right?
She's
really
just there.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really well structured. Yeah, I got no complaints about that. That was awesome. Any other points about Dedra and Syril? Because, I mean, they're pretty straightforward here.
They are.
After you get past that first little minor twist. Yes.
And then I am curious, because I guess my little thesis for all of this was that where do your loyalties get you? So I'm kind of curious that, are they going to all end up, does everyone end up tragic lovers in one way or another because they're so dedicated to their cause? Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious. I'm really wondering where all this is going to go, especially with them. Yeah. Ketzel says that them pretending she's in disgrace with the Empire is my favorite plot point right now. Yeah. Dude, the interplay that's going on between everybody is really fun. It's like there are so many moving parts, but I think that somehow the show is delivering it to you in a very digestible way. Oh, yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So after that, we get to touch in on our friend, not Cassian Andor, but Varian Sky. Wow. My boy was dripping out. Not only was he dripping out, he was like Lord of the Drip, because he's that's what he does. He's a fashion designer. It's true. You know, it is true. He'd always wanted to go there. Yeah. Yeah. This is what fully sold me on Cassian Andor as a character. Yeah. Cassian Andor. Yeah, Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor. I always thought that season 1 Cassian reminded me a lot of Harry Potter, where you're the chosen one. I think no. Around you is boring. You're boring and everyone else around you is way more interesting. Because in my opinion, maybe a hot take, I think Harry is one of the least interesting characters in the story. Everything kind of just happens to him. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong, he has agency, but the other thing too is he is literally a MacGuffin up until exactly. Yeah. And so I felt a lot that Cassian served a very similar purpose in season 1, where it's like everything's kind of happening around you. Like you are the focal point here, but I don't know. I didn't really get a lot of character from Cassian in season 1. Maybe that's me. Maybe it's a hot take. I don't know. But this season, I'm like, okay, all of that serving as a foundation. I'm now really loving where Cassian gets to explore himself here, where he gets to be, the fun, like almost sassy, but really intense when he needs to. Yeah. Like he's the assassin, he's the spy, he's the thief. Yeah. He gets to wear a lot of hats, and that's really cool. And seeing him in this archetype as Varian Sky, I'm like, wow, this character has a lot of layers to him, and he can do a lot of different things rather than just be sad in his apartment, which is great because that's fun. Well, not fun, but that's interesting. Yeah. But I wanted a little more from Cassie, and I'm so happy that it did. It's interesting too that we finally have now gotten to see. You said earlier, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. It's like, well, what's he learned? Yeah. And now this is all the different tricks of the trade. I mean, I think it's really interesting that he can take a transport and then he's got it all on like Mission Impossible style guy on lock. Exactly. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, it showcased his intelligence, his wit. Yeah. I love that scene in the cafe. His teaching ability. So good. As well. That just picking apart everything and then being like, this is how you do it. Yes. Really good. And I liked, because not only do we get Cassian Andor. We get to really see his relationship with Bix, which is so important, I think, for where we're going and for where we've been, because that's another thing in season 1. I'm like, I didn't really feel like I didn't understand their relationship that much. I mean, they were far apart. Yeah, I mean, they weren't together for most of it. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Whereas here, we get a lot of, here's how they act together just in these small moments, which is important. We need to see that for our characters to really care about them and their relationships. Yeah. And so we see how he worries about Bix. And I loved, again, the slow trickle of information with what happened on the last mission they were on. Yeah. You get the dream with Bix. Dr. Gorst is there, and he's torturing this mud trooper, Yeah. And I'm like, Well,
what's this about?
That's one of the guys from, wasn't it one of the guys from the end of the first season?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm completely wrong. The way I understood it is like he and Bix went on some mission in between the last arc and this arc.
Okay. I thought that I remembered him shooting somebody because of that.
Maybe you guys have to let me know. I don't know.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know, dude.
I might be off on this one.
Yeah.
I thought the way I understood it is that she's having this nightmare, and then you find out that Cassian shot him because he saw her face. And that builds off of what happened in the last arc, because he wasn't there. He didn't get to protect her. And now he's compensating.
Yeah.
Right. And
now he's being the overprotective boyfriend. Exactly.
Yes. And like I said, I really liked how that was delivered to us. And it really shows how, not only their relationship, but the humanity of the Empire in a little ways too. Not the Empire as an entity, but like, Bix clearly feels for this person that got killed. And it's like, he was just a soldier, it's like, I'm sure that there's got to be an understanding, at least among the rebel crew. At least it's clear that Bix has this, that just because you're an Imperial soldier doesn't mean that you're sipping the Empire's Kool-Aid all the time. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of Imperial soldiers who don't really know what's going on. I mean, perfect example, look at the ISB. They're hiding what's really going on Gorman. Yeah. And maybe if a lot of those soldiers knew what was going on, they wouldn't do that. And I mean, I guess maybe it's a little more obvious than
Episode 3, heroes on both sides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I don't know that I'd go that far.
I'm just saying it kind of echoes that. But I think there is like a mutual respect where it's like, this guy didn't need to die. Yeah. I mean, yes, there's that too. Just valuing human life, which is such a great, change from just, we're just going to cut him down, you get a lot of bombastic, almost whimsical action sequences in Star Wars where a lot of people lose their lives, and if you really sit and think about it, how that weighs on people. And like you see with Bix, man, this really weighs on her that they had to take this person's life. It reminds me of a quote from Captain America, the First Avenger, like Dr. Erskine. He says, people forget that the first country the Nazis invaded was their own. And looking at the Empire, as a reflection of that, it's like, just because you're an Imperial soldier doesn't mean you signed up to go, commit genocide on Gorman. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's great to see our characters wrestle with that. That like, I'm sure if Cassian capped Gorst or capped Krennic or any of those people, Bix wouldn't look twice at it. Yeah. But it's really interesting to see how they react to these kind of small scale acts of violence that have to happen in something like this, or maybe that didn't need to happen, Just maybe
really
Cassian
interesting.
was being overprotective. Yeah. And then that's, completely on her.
Yeah. So I love that. Great stuff. Baroness says, my only criticism and black mark on these episodes was the textbook use of the
bury your guys.
Yeah, trope usage. Sorry, my thing, I cannot see. Every time I highlight, I can't see it. I don't. There's a lot of. We'll get to Vel and Cinta because that's a really interesting scene too. It is. I feel like Bix, the reason he leaves no loose ends in Rogue One, don't want to see where this goes, but I think we all know where it goes. Yeah, I mean, we'll come back to Cassian and Bix in the toward the end of the episode, because I do think that we know where this is going to go. Mm-hmm. So, and that's curious. It's going to be sad for sure. Mm-hmm. After seeing Cassian in this more spy-like role, I feel it feels a bit sad. This is the last season. I would have loved more Mission Impossible style stuff. Yeah, I think the character has the bandwidth to do a more like almost Clone Wars type arc style. Yes. But at the same time, I like how limited this is. Yeah. It's a clear vision.
Well, again, we've talked about that. There's a beauty in things being finite.
Yes.
I just keep it going. It's great. No, I mean, sometimes things need to end.
Yeah. Yeah. And hello there, John. I see you there.
Hello there.
Hello there. So the rest of the stuff with Cassian, like him going to Gorman and, his assessment to Luthen that they're not ready for a revolution. I love how that ends because I love the Gorman front, how that's portrayed, because they're eager to do something, right? Yeah. Because they want to protect their people. They want to protect their community, but they're just not thinking it through either. Yeah. And they're going to lose a lot in the process. And so it's really interesting to see sort of the logistics of the rebellion.
Young and dumb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, exactly.
Your heart's in the right place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was really interesting where I'm like, I thought that when he talks to Luthen, you see a lot of Cassian's heart. He doesn't want to bury this place. You know, he doesn't want to spark this revolution here because they're not ready, and he wants them to win, but they need to be prepared. And Luthen, you see how ruthless he is and how he's really just, I mean, he's the mirror to Krennic.
He is.
Krennic doesn't care if the planet collapses. He doesn't care what happens to the people of Gorman. He just wants to make it look good on paper so that nobody looks twice at it.
Yeah, he even questions it. Because, I mean, he's got his own mission.
Exactly.
Yes. No one wants to get electrocuted at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you have Luthen on the other side of that. He wants the spark to be lit.
It's true.
If Gorman has to fall in order for it to burn brightly, then so be it. And it's like, wow. I love that interplay, man.
Yeah,
that interplay is great.
Because that is a very thin line on who's the good guy.
Yeah. At what point do you lose yourself?
Exactly.
And that's really interesting.
He does sleep with ghosts.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of the interplay specifically, it's like the way things are weaving in between storylines, like you got Luthen coming over here with Bix and Cassian, going back to Mon Mothma and into the art stuff with Clea, and it's like, wow, everything is just, the branching paths are so great here.
Yeah.
Nothing feels like it doesn't matter. Nobody feels like they're not connected to something else. Like this does feel like a unified story. And I'm like, hats off, guys, because this is really something.
I think that kind of lends itself to like the spy genre as a whole.
Yeah.
But I think that since you're telling this kind of like espionage-esque story, that you can kind of weave a little bit better. When last week kind of did feel like three different stories that were connected, but still they were different enough.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Great point. Sorry, I just missed it. From Woodsy. What Vel says at the end to the guy that Cinta will always be with him, and how he'll never forget her face is a nice way to tie it back to Bix. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're really showing the small scale cost, because there is a time and the place for the more, like I said, whimsical, like there's a reason you can't see the stormtroopers' faces. It's not just to look cool.
Yeah.
It makes them faceless. It makes them, when Han Solo's running around the corridor on the Death Star, he can fire aimlessly at them, because, you can have the fun John Williams music, and it can be, we're beating the bad guys. But it's also important for this story to show the other side of that. It's like, man, you are taking a life, and was it worth it too? Yeah. Was it worth it?
And then, again, what are you willing to sacrifice for your cause? And I think that like the cause is slowly eroding all these people in one way or another, even with, depending on what side you're on. I think that everybody's eroding down. Maybe not Krennic. He might be the only one that nothing's getting, that nothing's eroding away. But everybody else, I feel like you can definitely see it in one way or another. Yeah.
It's nice to see that human element here in this story, and like the cost of all of this. Cause I think Andor asks really hard questions, and I don't think it gives the easy answers to them either. And,
maybe this is sacrilegious, but like with this style of storytelling, I mean, it does literally show that it's like, it's not fun. Wars in the stars aren't fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. When like we were just talking about how much we love the whimsicalness of running around the Death Star, that, but like they're, it really is big kid Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is we can have both, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's what's really cool. And that's where I've really come to appreciate, I think.
Yeah.
I've stopped being such a curmudgeon and shaking my hand, my fist at the TV, being like, "Oh, Gilroy, you're changing my stuff. Get back, get back to formula. What are you doing?" But at the same time, it's like, it's nice to look at this through a different lens. Like, I absolutely, with my Star Wars, I need the whimsical side. I need that stuff. And it's so fun. Yeah. Of course, you got to have that. Yeah. You got to have the Geonosian arena, and like when the clones are running after the battle droids, and things getting knocked down. It's like, that's a war, right? That's just as intense as what these guys are going for, but we're just looking at it from a different perspective. Yes, it's important to have all perspectives.
Well, you really got to know. You're getting to know those clone troopers.
Yeah,
that's the whole. That's the difference.
Sure. Yeah. Ask really hard questions, especially with Luthen, because like Matthew is saying here, I liked and hated the humanizing of Luthen in this arc. Liked it for the fact that he was always cold and calculating, but hate it due to the fact that I feel like he should get his comeuppance for how cold he is. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right?
I mean, he's not in Rogue One, so I think that's something to be thinking about. That I'm like, he might. Maybe the Axis will be destroyed.
Yeah, and that's the question that we're asking here, right? Is like, at what point do you lose yourself, and at what point is it worth it? And I think that we get deeper into this with Saw Gerrera, which we can talk about because I think that's the real that's the sauce.
The other thing too is it shows that it's like you could be Krennic, you could be Luthen, or you could be Saw Gerrera.
Yeah,
and it's like,
dude, that's so funny you say that. I literally have in my notes that like almost word for word what you just said.
Fun fact.
Where it's like there's gradations.
We don't really share the notes, guys.
There's gradations, right? It's like true. It's a cascade. It's like you could be like Cassian, where you're going to compromise the cause because you have heart, or you could be like Luthen, where you're calculating, but you make exceptions sometimes.
Yeah.
Or you could be like Saw Gerrera. It's like, no, it's just the cause.
Yeah.
That is it. That is the only. It doesn't matter what happens to us, because, like Luthen says, we will burn our future for a sunset that we will never see. And I don't think Cassian is ready to burn his sunset yet.
Yeah.
Man, we got hold on. There's a legend in the chat.
There's a legend in the chat.
Michael Kramer.
He's back
with the $1.99 super chat. What up, boys? How was Celebration? It was really fun. Yep. Good time. A lot of new stuff. Yeah. Excited for Maul Shadow Lord. And we're going to, Tales of the Underworld. That's coming here in a few days. I saw episode 1 already, but I guess it doesn't matter because y'all
watch on Fortnite.
I was going to say everybody's going to get the first 2 in Fortnite. Ridiculous.
Oh, you saw it at Celebration.
Yeah. Not in Fortnite.
You watched it on Fortnite.
Gosh. No, I did not.
Yeah.
I paid an exorbitant amount of money to go to Japan to watch it just for them to be like, hey, it's in Fortnite.
I've been trying to tell you, man.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. He likes the new digs.
Appreciate it, Michael. And hey, it's good to see you in here.
Yes. Happy to have you.
Hope you're doing well. I'm so confused why they couldn't get Jimmy back for bail. I'm guessing he's going to have a lot of screen time next week. He is.
Dude, what's Jimmy Smits doing?
I know, right?
It makes me so mad. It's like, conflicting schedules. What's he thinking? It's like
I will say, so what Tony Gilroy said about the recast, he said he specifically put him in that scene just so everybody can have their fill, say what they got to say, because he's going to be back to do more.
That's so dumb.
And you know what? It bothers me, but at the same time, we got to rip this Band-Aid off as Star Wars fans. We got to do it.
But with Jimmy Smits, it's like,
I get it. It's like, what's he up to?
Exactly. Yeah. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Come on. And you're trying to tell me that he wouldn't come back?
I heard something like it was like a family thing or something.
Okay, that's a good excuse. Yeah. Because I'm like, dude, he's in Rogue One. He's in Revenge of the Sith. He's in Kenobi. I mean, the dude shows up for everything. Yeah. So it is kind of weird that it's just not him.
No, it is
also kind of weird. That's the guy in Coco. He plays the bad guy in Coco.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that guy's in everything. So I just feel like that it's
maybe. Well, he's in higher demand than you think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm not Jimmy Smits, the guy.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what I'm saying is, how'd they get the guy that's literally to everything, and you couldn't get Jimmy Smits?
Yeah. Well, they're saying he's on Law and Order. He's busy.
Wow.
Cut him a break. Cut Jimmy a break, Seth.
I just miss him. That's all it really boils down to. I just like, and every time we see him, I scream.
Yeah.
I go, Jimmy Smits! Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bummer.
Do it this time.
Yeah, I know. You got to do I don't know the other guy's name.
It's Bail Organa.
It's Benjamin. I think that's it, right?
I don't even know his name. Yeah.
Michael, enjoy Thunderbolts. I see you in there. May the 4th be with you as well. Hey, we'll see you on May the 4th, hopefully.
Yes.
We're going to be hanging out watching Watch Party, Tales of the Underworld.
Oh, we're going to do a watch party?
Yeah, I didn't tell you about that. You're learning this for the first time. How about that?
Sick. Okay. I'm there.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we got to rip this Band-Aid off as Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Because if we want the 50 years, right, of what the franchise has been here with, right?
Yeah.
We have to accept it.
Yeah.
We have to just accept that this is going to have to happen if we want more stories told in this universe.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to happen. And you know what? Maybe if this is to put my tinfoil hat on.
If you're about to say, I'm glad it was Jimmy, I'm gonna be really upset. No. I'm glad that it first happened with Jimmy.
I actually was going to say that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm happy you broke your elbow. That's what you just did.
I'm about to say it.
That's what you just about did to me.
Well, I am going to say it because I am glad it starts with someone like Bail Organa, who, let's be real, Seth, he's a C-lister. I'm not saying he's not important. B-lister.
I get it. No, you're fine. I get it. But I
don't even think he made it on our tier list.
Of what?
Of heroes. See, you don't even know.
We never ranked senators.
But he's a hero.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just think I'm glad it happens with him. Whereas, like, maybe now we can all get it off our chest and be upset about it, and you know, and
now we know it's coming.
And now maybe we can recast Luke and Leia and Han, or just bring Alden back, to be honest with you. So we can
keep getting close to that age.
I know, right? Let's bring it on, right?
No, I'm saying he's just now like Harrison Ford. He's got to be getting close to that, right?
Brother, Harrison Ford is like 80. Alden Ehrenreich is
like Harrison Ford in 1977.
Oh yeah, he's probably getting close.
That's what I'm saying. It's like now you can't tell young Han Solo stories when you look like Han Solo now.
I don't want a young Han Solo. I want him after. I want after Return of the Jedi Han Solo. You. That's it. That's ultimately what I'm getting at. Is like, if we want this Heir to the Empire movie to star the trio, then we got to accept that Jimmy Smits isn't coming back in Andor. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at, guys. There's a long-winded way to circle back to that. He's going to be in the new Dexter show. Yeah, I'd heard about that.
Yeah, he's in season 3 of Dexter.
TBD, probably around same Dune time, probably around 6:30. I don't know. I'm going to do it a little earlier. Maybe 7.
Maybe 7.
Lock it in. There you go.
I got Judge.
That's right.
So
he does Star Wars Unlimited stuff. So probably around 7. We'll let you know. Probably should have figured that out before the stream, but we did not. Bale is S tier, and I will not take this slander. He's great. He's great. And yeah. And hey, I appreciate you, by the way, Darth LVJ. We do our best. By the way, just because I'm remiss about, like, because of the set change, the cross we used to have on the set is also black, and I'm looking at getting a new one. So the Lord is still top here, just letting you all know.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason the cross isn't back. Sorry, that reminded me of that. I was like, I meant to say that last week. So I want to look good. I want a nice cross on the set, but
I get that.
Haven't found a good one. Maybe I need to stop being so picky. But anyway, moving on to the next thing.
Cross of a carpenter. Yes.
That's what I need to do. I just get a piece of wood. There you go. Since we're already talking about it, we might as well continue talking about the party. Look at this guy. I gotta say something.
Party. Why?
Gotta say something about this. Bring it in. There we go. Camera 2. All right, thank you. Ben Mendelsohn as director Orson Krennic is just one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars, and specifically because of that scene in the first arc where he does this, where he's talking about Gorman, and he's like, and Gorman, it's not all about spiders. You know, when he does that. Like, what are you doing, Ben? This is so crazy. But then, hold on. I just saw an interview with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just feel like Krennic's a little more fruity in this time of his life. Really? And I just thought that was so funny. Like, Krennic is so like that, because that really stood out to me. The hand motions and the sassy head movements. Yeah. And to hear him confirm that was intentional.
That was what he did. That's what he felt like when he read the script.
I don't know. That just really struck me. I thought that was so funny when I saw that interview, because I'm like, I noticed that. I almost made a video. I never do this type of content, but I almost did a video of like a side by side of like me mimicking his movements.
Yeah, because it's like, because why would you do that? It's true, because he's so calm and calm. But maybe, something's really bad's going to happen. That's why he is the way he is in Rogue One. That he had a little bit of, maybe that's the opposite. He's getting chipped away too.
Luthen's so serious.
Yes.
He's a bad guy, but critics could be like, hey, y'all, let's burn down Gorman.
It's true. I don't know.
You know what it reminds me of? This is going to be a deep meme cut here. Have you ever seen those memes? Here, I'll bring it up here so y'all can see both. Have you ever seen those memes? It's of Harry Potter. It's always the same scene of the chess scene where it's people will do like ridiculous dances to like, not me, not Hermione. You. Have you ever seen those? There's so many ridiculous ones. People like throwing it back, this lot. Come on, somebody out here has seen these, right?
Huh. I don't know.
You've never seen those?
Yeah.
That's what Krennic reminds me of here.
Okay.
Where he's like, Gorman, It's not all about spice. It just cracks me up.
I don't even remember him doing that
Am
much.
I the only one? Okay, thank you. Kate's seen these. All right, thank you. You guys have seen these.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
I don't know. I know. I'm like, I'm on something here. I found it so funny.
Yeah.
I just found.
Well, I think it's weird too that like Ben Mendelsohn's just like, yeah, dude, he's in a different era at this time. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, little tangent aside, I just really struck me as funny. That's all. And to tie it back to the party, I think you get to see more of Fruity Krennic. That's what I'm going to start calling him, Fruity Krennic.
Yeah.
He's got his little sash on.
He does. He's looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved him and Mon Mothma sparring at the party. So good.
What I really liked about it is it was kind of happening in the background because you were so worried about that, them getting that.
Right.
Yeah. Because you were worried about that key more than anything. And it's like, oh, come on, it's not that big a deal. And it's, but like, this key or the microphone's way more important. That thing's got to open. But like, if you're really paying attention to their conversation, it's like, they're going back and forth about this. And it's like,
yeah, I know.
Oh, shoot. that like, this could really cause some tension for the next episode. Yeah, because this is we're lighting sparks.
Yeah, to make another reference here, it reminded me of that line from Sean Bean, Odysseus in Troy, where his favorite movie, one of my favorite movies, yes, where he said to Achilles, like, "Oh, war is old men talking and young men dying," something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, you see them; they get to have kind of a cordial conversation between themselves, where you cut back to what's going on Gorman, or you cut back to what Cassian was going through on Yavin. Yeah. Like, it's just, what a gradation. They're all fighting the same fight, but some people have to sacrifice a little bit more. And, and I like that you see that.
It is really weird too, that like your fighting is just verbal spouting because you have the power to actually make a difference in like the Senate and whatnot. Yeah. You can't be that person on the battle line. It's
good stuff. I really liked it.
And that whole scene was great. Again, like just the tension building along with the heist, with stealing the microphone and that conversation, like that's three things all happening at once. Yeah. It's like, dang, brain, calm down. It's like, that it's like kind of trying to keep track of everything. But I like that kind of stuff. Like I love the Mission Impossible movies. Like those are so fun. Mm-hmm. And I'll admit they're stupid, but like, man, like more often than not, really fun with building tension and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, you had the buildup was fantastic. Yes. And like I mentioned about the weaving paths, like you're worrying about Mon and Krennic. Yeah. You listen to them. What's Luthen? Is he going to say anything? That's interesting. Mm-hmm. And then you're always seeing Lonnie and Clea in the background. And I mean, I agree with Kate. Like I adore Clea. I love how Luthen is in charge of the rebellion, but Clea is in charge of Luthen. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think another thing, this moment in this scene showed more than anything was that there's a reason why Mon Mothma has to be the figurehead for the rebellion. Oh. It's because she can do this. Right? Yes. Luthen couldn't. I mean, what does Luthen say? It's almost played off as a funny moment, a rare comedic beat in Andor when him and Clea are walking away from the party. He's like, we should have killed Krennic up there. And they both chuckle about it. It just a small moment, but really showed the difference between these characters and how they operate. And
you're right with that like Mon Mothma is the only person that can be Mon Mothma, if you will, because of her status and everything that like, Cassian and Andor couldn't make that kind of impact, and neither could Saw Gerrera, neither could even Luthen. I mean, there's just no way. Yeah.
Well, Luthen is almost, I feel like, shielded Mon from the horror of it so that she can still be that person with the heart. Yes. Because Luthen, because of everything he sees, everything he sacrificed, he could never be what Mon is. No. And you need Mon also for like, obviously the political power that she has and like the renown that she has. It's really just, gosh, the party, another just hit it out of the park. I mean, this is the same guy who wrote the One Way Out stuff from season 1. Yeah. Just excellent work. Yeah, I really liked it. That's all I wanted to say. I saw a thing up here. Where was it? Yeah, from Settling. Oh, I was talking about Ben Mendelsohn. I saw an interview with him that did on YouTube, and I was shocked that he was the actor for Krennic. So I just watched Ready Player One with my wife. Which
never seen that?
No, I'd seen it, but she's reading the book, and so she was wanting to watch.
He reminds me. I'm happy that he got to come back as Krennic in this because the MCU did him so dirty as Talos. Oh, and so it reminds me. It reminds me of Jude Law that I'm happy that like at least he has Krennic.
Yeah.
And at least Jude Law has Jodna Nowwood. Yeah, that like they've got that because unfortunately, yeah, the MCU kind of did him dirty in my opinion.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. I was so excited when Ben Mendelsohn was going to come to the MCU because I've been a fan since The Dark Knight. I loved his character in The Dark Knight. He's one of those guys that has a look and a sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where his accent comes from. It is so thick. It's wild. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just, he just sounds so specific to him. Like you hear him, you're like, that's Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh, yeah.
Even when Ready Player One, it's just funny how much it comes through in his American accent, you know?
Deploy the garrison.
Deploy the garrison.
Are we blind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I'm sad that he dies in Rogue One. I mean, I'm not, but at the same time, I wanted more.
Dude,
of him.
he gets a crazy death.
Yeah. Good one.
I was going to say, he's on top of that thing and the laser shoots through it.
I hope that by the end of this, that final arc, when the Death Star is nearing completion, I want just give me more Krennic, please. In that, I want to see that time of his life.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, so good, so good.
You know, maybe we won't get Tarkin because if this really is leading into Rogue One, like it's a big deal when Tarkin shows up.
Yeah,
yeah. That it's like, oh no. Now you're playing in the deep water.
Well, I think this is a big reason why it's a good thing why we're not getting Vader or Palpatine in this, because if you really look at Andor as the start of the Galactic Civil War story, we're building up. We got more Lana One. We got cops, space cops. Oh no, they're a problem. Okay, we got to deal with them. Now, you know, building up. We got Dedra. She's an ISB agent, Partagas. Okay, and now season 2. Oh no, now we got Krennic, and that's going to lead us into Rogue One. And who else is in Rogue One? Tarkin. Oh, how does Rogue One end with Vader? And then Vader transitions us into A New Hope. And where do we finally end with? We end with the Emperor. It's just such a good.
Where the fun begins.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's just such a good. So good.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that, man, when this is all said and done, I really can see it. I think that this is going to be a really complete story when you just look at the Galactic Civil War.
Yeah. Kind of a trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, then you add a couple more movies onto it, but yeah.
Well, if you look at the OT as almost its own story. Yeah. And then you look at Andor as its own story and then Rogue One as its own story. Yeah. It's kind of like a trilogy in that way, which is kind of fun. Yeah. It's just neat how puzzle pieces all work together. I think sometimes when you have a prequel, you can work too hard to make everything fit together. That is one of my
not hard enough.
Or not hard enough. Yes. Yeah. That's one of my. I wouldn't call it a complaint, but everything fits very nicely at the Revenge of the Sith for A New Hope. Yeah. Whereas you look at something I know I gush about all the time. Better Call Saul. It's a great prequel to Breaking Bad because it doesn't worry so much about all that. Sometimes it'll show you, hey, this is how this happened. But then you just see him get his Cadillac. You don't see him get his Cadillac. There's just a shot of him getting in it at one point. And you're like, oh, I guess he got that off screen. Yeah. You know, and that's, I don't know. I like that when you worry more about story and themes and things like that, because I think that's what's important to build too. But okay, we've had fun at the party. What about the boots on the ground? The heist. Right? So the stuff with Gorman, we talked about where Varian Sky.
He came in and humbled them.
Yeah. We talked about how that worked and where that was going. Yeah. And now you have Vel and Cinta who are sent there kind of the cleanup job because Luthen's like, no, it's going to burn. It's going to burn brightly. Yeah. And
this is more of what I was talking about earlier, where it's like, your dedication to your cause. Where does it get you?
Yeah. And what do you lose?
It's true.
What do you lose by doing it?
Yeah. What are you fighting for?
I really liked the heist itself. I was very well telegraphed, what they needed to do, because they're worried about this annex. But no, we know it's an armory, and we're going to expose them. We're going to, and in the process of exposing them, we're going to take all the weapons for ourselves. And you've this great just back and forth with actually Partagas and Syril and Dedra. They're planning all of it, and amazing how that worked. But ultimately,
I love stuff cutting back and forth.
Yeah,
where it's like they're doing it as they're talking about doing it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, I'm a sucker for that.
And we also got Cassian was vindicated by Cinta's death because that's what he said would happen. They're not ready. They're not ready for something like this. And that, I don't remember the character's name, but the one who shot Cinta,
the doofus.
Yeah, the boy.
Yes, the boy.
The child.
Hey,
boy.
The guy that walked out? He was in the town hall meeting.
Yeah.
The burly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. did he look like a dwarf or something, didn't he? Like he just reminded me of like Gimli. Did you not think that just I don't know, like if a lumberjack was real, like that, like
lumberjack and dwarf are two different things.
He just like seemed like the manifestation of like if you were just like, hey, I need like a dwarven fighter. And it's like, dude, wow, this guy could play like a dwarven fighter. He looks just like, he looks like he's ready to go, ready to just fight everyone with his hands.
He's short and stout is what you're saying.
He's not even short. I'm just going with he looks like he should be playing a dwarf in like the Hobbit, because none of those guys were short.
Yeah, it's like, that's true. He did have more of a dwarf look than like Feely and Keely.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is like he just looked like one. Yeah, that like yeah.
Well, Settling says lumberjacks aren't real, Seth. Get out of here.
They aren't. This dude looked like he should be Paul Bunyan.
Yeah,
like the lumberjack. It's like,
hey, who am I to argue?
I just thought it was wild. I was like, where'd they find this guy?
Yeah,
like because I can let you continue your thought, but I just I liked the look of the planet of Gorman, but like I don't know if I was always hot on their outfits.
Okay,
if that makes sense. Like it was looking almost a little too real worldy, and then when you start
French,
then you start mixing that with their accents, then it's like it's all just looking real.
I mean, at the end of the day, like people wrote it. You know what I mean? They have to draw inspiration from things.
I get that, and I know. Yes,
yeah,
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you just don't like the French. I get it. I saw this thing today. It's really funny because for some reason France is always the butt end of jokes, like it's like world memes and stuff like that.
Better be careful, man. We might have some French viewers.
Hey, I think y'all are great if you're from France. But I saw this thing. It was another stupid meme. It was like me when Star Wars canonizes French people. And it was that guy who was just like, no, dude, why?
Weird.
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh. I liked it. I actually thought they were going for more of an Italian influence at first before I heard them talk.
Yeah. No, I was just going off of just a European, like they were just kind of a hodgepodge of all of it. Yeah.
Because I thought their architecture, granted, I've never been to France.
Yeah.
But I have been to Italy. It reminded me of, it actually reminded me a lot of Venice. Some of there's the square in front of St. Marco. That's what the Gorman Square kind of reminded me of. It's like kind of similar with like this really wide sort of the pillaring and, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I was just getting at like the hats. It's like, because some of them had berets.
Didn't like the hats.
And some of them, It's like, Then
Space France.
Yes. Then other ones just being like, can I have some oil?
Well, I wonder if they're also trying to have a little bit of a historical theme here, because obviously there's a lot of influence from the Empire to the Nazis. And so it's like, well, it kind of, it's almost like a subconscious, like, hey,
wake up.
This is what you're supposed to think about this, which I don't know. It's not ineffective. I think it works.
No. I mean, I think that, it crossed my mind.
Yeah.
So there you go. It did its job.
Yeah. I like to look at that place a lot.
No, I like the look.
Yeah.
It's the people. I didn't like the costumes.
It's the people.
Yes.
You sound a little bit like Krennic, Seth.
Oh. You're starting to sound like a separatist.
You're starting to sound like a separatist. So anyway, back to the heist. Well done. Not a lot to really chew on until the end.
Yes.
When you get that just really interesting monologue from Vel. Right?
That was sad. Even though I knew it was coming. That as soon as they shared a tender moment, then I'm
I know. Literally, as soon as that happened, I'm like, well, Cinta's dead.
Yeah, I was just like, well, it's over. It's been nice knowing it. Yeah, but yes.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I thought that I'm still chewing on that monologue a little bit, because I think that Vel is obviously speaking from a place of like deep emotion during this.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that's like, I think you're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, I'm just working through my thought process here where it's like, everybody takes a risk with this. I know and as Vel says in her speech, like she died from something stupid.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid thing. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's this guy's fault. But at the same time, it's like, I think he did his best. And it was more the dwarf's fault.
No, it was, right? but he shouldn't have had the gun. They said not to carry the gun. He even brought it up.
Oh, shoot. You know what? Fair enough. I didn't.
Okay, yeah. They told him specifically, don't carry the gun, but yet he brought the gun. So that wouldn't have happened. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I for some reason, that spaced my mind. I think you're right. And so working through my thought process again, Vel definitely has a lot more leg to stand on here because, they did tell him that. They did. Yeah. You know what? Thinking more about the context of the scene, that the one girl rushes off the old lady and nobody's listening to, again, vindicating Cassian that they're not ready for this.
And that's the whole thing too, is I think that it really does fall back on Luthen at the end of the day, where it's like, these people weren't ready for this kind of situation, but you wanted to light this candle.
Yeah.
So where's your dedication going to get you? Yeah. Yeah.
I guess what I'm getting at, I'm not at all saying I didn't like it. I just think it's really interesting the direction that they took that monologue because of course she's speaking from here, but really I think if he would have shot one of their crew, that's a completely different, I mean, obviously, but it just shows what that can do to someone, the sort of horror of war. And because it happened to someone close to Vel, she completely changes her tune because she's a person, she's a human being. And that's ultimately what this whole show is. It's about humanizing. Whereas I really think if he would have shot one of their crew, she would have been like, shouldn't have brought a gun. What'd I tell you? I don't think she would have gone so hard. I don't really know what I'm getting at with this. I'm just saying that, like, I think that I like the way it was written because it was very, I'm thinking about it, right? Like it's really, it stayed with me. I guess that's ultimately what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, I think it just shows them that it's like, that's going to stick with them, all of them.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the stakes. This is what matters.
Yeah.
That next time it could be your buddy.
Right.
So I get that it needed to happen for the story, but it's like, come on, why didn't you listen to them?
Right. I know. Yeah. Well, I think that's what you're supposed to be like as a viewer. You're supposed to be like, guys, come on. But
these are the experts.
It's because of how real people are. That's what, as a brief aside, it always bothers me when people will look at scenes sometimes and be like, why did this person do this? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, people don't make sense sometimes. Yeah. If you're going to write people and write real people, sometimes they make choices that don't make sense. This is my historical argument for Kenobi, with some of the...
What is it? It's
character flaws are not writing flaws.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Character flaws and writing flaws.
Now, I'm not stupid. I'll admit that this is done better, but there are choices sometimes that some of the characters make in that show that's like, this don't make sense. It's like, yes, because they're flawed people. Yeah. They have flaws and they make bad choices sometimes, right? So... yeah, I don't know where I was really going with that, but I gotcha. That's my thoughts. Matthew Green, thank you so much for the $4.99. What was your guys' thoughts on making the Legends Gorman Massacre into canon with Tarkin as the first massacre? I'm so glad you brought that up because I thought that was great. I thought it was a nice way to pay homage to Legends while also building to what you need to
I guess there's going to be two.
Yeah. Well, it's building your own story, but doing what you need to with the old as well, not forgetting about it, not just sort of appropriating it in name only. Like they actually kept it there and just kind of repurposed it for their story. Just really good.
Had it happen several years earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. I get the budgetary reasons, but I would like to see more aliens. See, okay. I've seen a couple of you guys mention this. I thought there were a lot of aliens in this arc.
More than the last one.
Yeah. I thought there were a lot. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
But I mean, there needed to be like a ton on Coruscant, and we saw like none.
Yeah. Yeah. I did like Coruscant 7-11, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't?
I wanted to spend more time at the cool Coruscant that's like all neon and everything like that. I didn't like just gray Coruscant. Like, does that make sense where like Cassian and Bix are hanging out?
Sorry, just giving a thumbs up to that right there.
Okay.
You can keep going.
Okay. Black aliens. And there you go. But yeah, that's all I really had to say is that I guess it makes sense. It's a huge planet. It should have different looks and stuff like that. I just felt like that theirs was kind of boring, like in that area that they were in. Like, I've seen way more interesting shots of
it's run down. Yeah. Makes sense. Right?
But I mean, still, it's like even the rundown parts, I've seen more interesting.
Part of it is a real place like that they shot. Almost everywhere here is a real place.
Yeah.
Like that gala that they went to, that's a real place.
Really?
They just kind of changed the background. I'm pretty sure. Okay. I don't remember where it's at, but I saw some BTS pictures because the girl plays Clea, posted a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was like, wow, that's a real place. Okay.
Real place. That's cool.
And a real place for that little.
That's probably why it looks so good.
For the Space 7-Eleven, kind of the same thing. I don't know. I
Space
liked
7-Eleven.
it. Will of the Force. Hello there. Knowing that Cassian was ultimately right, forced Luthen to throw him a bone and send Bix on the mission against Gorst. Yes, I really liked, again, how what they choose to show and what they choose not to was really effective in this arc. Because yes, you know that like Luthen stopped by. What's going on there? Things are happening. There's tension between Bix, Cassian, and Luthen. But then by the end of it, everybody's in sync again.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that they didn't show us that, because you see her say, well, the light's on again. And Luthen, yeah, Cassian being vindicated is like, okay, fine. I'll put you guys together. You're going to be great together. I want you both healthy and, and good.
In the right mind.
And go. Perfect opportunity. Right. So you may notice, folks at home, we've not talked about one thing, a pretty important part of this episode. And that's because I think it has the most to chew on. And that's, of course, if I can click it, Revolution is not the same. What an incredible scene. I think, maybe a bold claim, this is the most Star Wars coded scene in this show so far. It's Shakespearean. It's grand. It's it ties back. It's a campfire story in a way, but it keeps that Andor grittiness to it. I'm like, man, this is the perfect blend of everything I think Andor is trying to do with Star Wars, in my opinion.
Yeah. And also to add to it too, is like, there is like an element of fantasy with it, with the fact of him getting high, and it's like referring to it as a living thing that, messed up.
I want to read a little bit from this, because this was the thing. I hung on this for a while. Yeah. This was interesting. It's when he says, my sister Rido.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm like, his sister, like he's referring to it like it's his family.
And I'm like, what? I really need to think about this. I'm like, that is just so crazy, And so here's a bit of the quote. Like, obviously, you have Willman. They put together that he's putting together this lock system because they're going to steal some Rhydonium. Because at first I'm like, what does this have to do with the main story? And then I think this really clicked with me. I'm like, oh, Saw is showing that gradation that we just talked about. Like, you could be a Cassian, you could be a Luthen, or you could be a Saw, and you're so far gone. It's like, this is what happens when you completely lose yourself. And I love that Andor has taken Saw in a different, because in Rogue One, he's definitely meant to be the mirror to Vader. Oh yeah, I think.
Yes,
it's like, here's what happens when one of the good guys loses himself and becomes a cyborg. He's just as crazy, and like, you don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
But this takes it so much deeper. Yeah. Like, this is the cost. Look in the mirror.
There's a reason for the crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah,
but I think that it also ties to Cassian and Bix in ways that I didn't expect. And it tied everything up in a really nice bow for me. So first, let me read this, because gosh, it's so good. It was a stupid joke here. Maybe I'll read it later. I forgot I wrote
jokes,
this.
Man.
I forgot I wrote this down. I'll say it. Why not? I have written in my notes, or it's like, this is so Shakespearean. It feels like Star Wars manifest. I have like, what is the charge? A monologue? A succulent Star Wars monologue? This is Lucas Star Wars manifest. Get your hand off my rebreather. Do you know it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Get your hand off my rebreather.
Oh my gosh. Please, at least one person, please tell me you see that video. Just, because you're all going to think I'm nuts. Just as nuts as Saw here. Catch you up just real quick. There's a video out there. It's one of my favorite videos. It's this guy getting arrested, and he goes, what is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? This is democracy manifest. And then he gets thrown in the
is he getting arrested?
It's so good.
What'd he do?
I don't even know. Okay. It's so good.
Is he drunk? Is he high? Like, why did he have this accent?
He's probably drunk. I don't know.
All right. I need to know the story behind that thing.
It is one of my favorite videos of all time.
We're going to watch
this
it later.
Is democracy manifest. Anyway, thank you. I see some people in the chat know what I'm talking about. I appreciate that, because that's a tear in my eye. It's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite videos. I'll show it to you after the show.
Yeah, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, wild. Although, like, you've told me before that you went deep in them vines. You were like,
in Vine culture.
Yeah, you were like deep.
That's what we did when me and my friend of mine, R8 actually, our moderator. Yeah. When we would edit very late at night, and during our lunchtime, we would always throw on Vine compilations.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't think that was a Vine though. I don't know, maybe it was.
Well, I'm just saying that like I feel like that you've been to places in the internet that I'm just like I have no idea what you're talking about.
I got you. I'm a little more in the known with the meme culture. Yeah, I'll say
it's true. Yeah. You've been known to send some dank. In your day.
Yeah. It shows how dated you are. Uses the term dank. What is it, 2012?
I guess so.
Get out of here.
I guess so.
Gosh.
Yeah. Like next I'm going to call it soda.
Yeah. What? What is that?
Instead of pop. Soda pop.
It's just a regional thing. That's not a time thing.
No, it's the soda. Usually is like, okay, old man. Pop, what are you like, 4? Just, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Pick it up with your throat. Oh, okay.
Kind of get that?
Yeah.
No?
We were talking about Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, it's true. Rhydonium.
Rhydonium. Okay.
Yeah, not Coke.
This great, jeez. When I was younger than you are now, I was a prisoner. I'm not going to read this first part. I did really like that they talked about like the Andor jungle, all that stuff. Great. And then you have him walking up, smelling in the fumes, and Wilman's like, what are you doing? How can you do that? Because I understand it, because she's my sister, Rhydo, and she loves me. That itch, that burn, you feel how badly she wants to explode. Remember this moment, this perfect night. You think I'm crazy? Yes, I am. Revolution is not for the sane. Look at us, unloved, hunted, cannon fodder. We'll all be dead before the Republic is back, and yet here we are. Where are you, boy? You're here. You're not with Luthen. You're here. You're right here, and you're ready to fight. We're the Rhydo, kid. We're the fuel. We're the thing that explodes when there's too much friction in the air. Oh! Wait. Absolute cinema. I mean, absolute cinema.
When you start breaking that down,
it's so good.
Like, it's just weird because like Luthen feels like he's, he's looking for that place to spark. Saw's just like swiping matches everywhere. It's like, dude, I'm ready to explode. Give me a chance. Give me a chance and let's do this. So do you think he shows up then? Is he going to show up on Gorman?
I could see this being the end of his story.
Yeah.
It would be fitting.
That's it. Yeah, because I know that him and Mon, like, they trade.
Oh, he doesn't show up on Gorman. No,
I don't know in any capacity.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I think maybe he could show back up in the story. Somewhere, but I don't think with Gorman. Okay. Probably. Just
you don't think that they're on their way to Gorman? I know that they were on their way to go steal more.
Yeah. I don't think that because Luthen and Cassian have been so like they're not sure what to do with Gorman yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would even risk
realize. Okay.
Throwing Saw at that.
The other thing I do want to throw out is, it was pretty cool seeing a member of Saw's crew return.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The return of the king.
Yes. 2 Tubes himself.
2 Tubes. I like that. Is this the first time they've name dropped him?
Oh yeah, I don't think that he's been said.
Yeah, because Saw's like, give it to Tubes. Tubes has the information. I'm like, there he is,
our guy.
Yeah. We met Aiden Cook, the great creature artist actor behind 2 Tubes.
Yeah,
and it was funny. I posted a little reel about it this week. But when we spoke to him, Grayson, who was with us, was like, hey, I know you can't say anything. Are we going to see 2 Tubes and Andor season 2? And he's like, I couldn't possibly say. We all knew immediately he'd be right in there. So great to see him. Great to see him in the credits. Mm-hmm. I watched the whole credits just to see his name.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay, it was 2. Okay, Kate's saying that you could see it in the subtitles. So maybe in like their language.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, it was great to see him. 100% agree. There's so much to break down about this monologue that's just excellent. Them being the fuel, and that it doesn't just mean that they are what make the rebellion go. They're going to burn before it's all over. And that's such a revelation. It may be an obvious one, but it's like, because I think that everybody fighting thinks that they're going to make it out.
They can see the end.
And like you even have, when Luthen is speaking to Bix, she's like, do you ever get tired of hiding or is that ever going to stop? And he says, it will stop because they'll either lose or we will die trying. And I think Saw is the representation of that. It's like, we will burn brightly if we're going to burn, but we're going to take them with us. So good.
Oh no, I completely agree.
Oh
yeah.
And this is the same guy who wrote Luthen's monologue, by the way, from last season.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then. But yes, that, it shows that like even Saw's men are dedicated to the cause too. And I think that's super important and super dangerous when you have a group of people that are just like, hey, it does not matter. I don't need to see the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I can add on to you, Matthew, I see you in the chat there. Luthen is looking for the gasoline while Saul is the flamethrower. I don't think you're wrong. I would just make a different comparison. I would say Luthen is looking for the spark and he's trying to be careful with his fuel source, but Saul is like magnesium. He burns so hot and so bright. It's like, it's dangerous to unleash him.
Yeah.
And you see it here. It's like, wow.
Well, the rebellion's even kind of scared of him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just also from just a story perspective, you could see why Saul is the way he is too. Yeah. Like how it started when he was on Andor, and now he's got this addiction and he's truly lost himself. And now if I can tie this in to the kind of final point here, which I thought was one of the best things that they did with this episode, is the juxtaposition of Saw Gerrera's drug addiction to Bix's, because Bix is so worried in this arc about losing herself. She's so worried about what happened with that Imperial soldier, and she's using substances here. She's depressed, and gosh, how hard is it to see her like that?
Well,
right?
I mean, again, how much are they gonna hurt this poor character? But I get it. Yeah.
Well,
I get it.
I think that we end in a really fascinating place because we get this whole bit with Saul where you see that he did lose himself. He's gone. Yeah. And that's what Bix wants Luthen to do. She wants him to just unleash her. Right. Yeah. But he's also trying to protect her in probably more selfish ways, but he's trying to protect Bix because he wants her healthy.
Yes. And I think too, that he wants Cassian at 100%. So the only way he can have both of them at 100% is to have them at 100%, if that makes sense.
So to use them together, right? Yes, and that's the final beat of this. And it's, where's Bix now? Is she now going to be like Saul? Is she unleashed? Because how far will she lose herself? Yeah. I just think it was definitely had to be a deliberate choice to show this parallel between using substances, in this sort of grandiose, almost over the top way with Saul to show like, this is what can happen to you. Yes. And then showing Bix, who's really struggling with her place in the rebellion. And it's like at the end there, this is what I meant earlier when I said it's really great what they choose to show you and what they don't, because they don't show that decision of her and Cassian deciding to take on this mission, meeting up with Luthen. They don't show that. It's all left up to you. So when she walks around that corner, all confident with Cassian, and they blow that, at first I thought it was another dream. Yeah. Again, great playing with your expectations. But now I'm like, how far did you lose yourself now, Bix?
It's true. Because I mean, they must have not been worried about cameras, because she walked right in and then walked right out shooting people while she did it. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like she something has sparked within her.
Yes. And I mean, too, we saw the literal explosion. Yeah. Yeah. Saul was talking about explosions. Bix actually made one happen.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I think next week we're definitely going to see the Gorman massacre, which is going to spark the Imperial or the Galactic Civil War. But I think with our characters, this was it. This was the catalyst that will lead us into the next two arcs and into the final arc with Rogue One. Quite exciting. It's well done. Yeah. Yeah, it's something I'm going to be thinking about. I think this is one of the most, that scene with Saul and how it connects with Bix and our characters, not just Bix, but our other characters, is going to stick with me for a bit. I think it's one of the more powerful stories in this franchise, because to contrast it, not to relitigate the conversation we had last week, but to contrast it with sort of the heavy elements of last week's arc, I thought this is, I guess, what I was looking for. Like this, make it grandiose, but tie it to our more human elements. I definitely think, as proven here, it's definitely doable. Like, show me how this can affect everyone, and I guess I'm not complaining per se. This is my preferred delivery of these heavy elements. Cause the drug use was tough to watch, with Bix, and she's just one of the most powerful sort of emotional shots I thought was when she's just laying there watching TV. Yes. It's like, gosh, wow, she's really, what a real depiction of what that looks like. It's numbness. It's not even like depression. It's not sadness so much. It's numbness. Like you've lost yourself. Yep. No
will to do much of anything.
and getting that sort of marriage between her struggle and her arc to this very grandiose speech that has just so much to unpack and layers. One of my favorite stories in all of Star Wars right now. I think it's really, really, really cool. Mm-hmm. So that's, kind of where I'm at with Andor season 2, episodes 4 through 6.
Yeah.
I see from Will of the Force here, the literal addiction to resources that Saul has is such a cool link between Krennic and Luthen in the scene they're fighting over their own resource on Garmin. They are all just as crazy. Yeah, I know. It's the mirroring and like the different sides of the same coin. It's like, gosh.
It just shows that we're not all too different.
Yeah.
That they're all trying to push it as hard as they possibly can.
I think it's important in like the main saga to see that black and white, the good guys have blue lightsabers, the bad guys have red.
Yeah.
And, because it's important. It's a 10-pole story. It's a fable.
Yeah.
It is important to see these two where it's like, just because they are heroes on both sides, so to speak.
Andor's very like reading between the lines, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like, you got to look past, the good guys having the blue lightsabers and the bad guys having the red ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that maybe a more apt thing is not the heroes on both sides. It's there are villains on both sides.
It's true.
Yeah. Because there are almost no heroes here.
We've talked about it that like one of the things I don't really like is I like my Star Wars kind of, where it is really black and white for like red and blue. We could use that better, that terminology a little better when, unfortunately everybody's really gray in Andor, that there isn't really a hero. I mean, maybe Bix, maybe
Cassian. So I think Cassian is the most pure of heart so far.
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, he still only cares about one person, though.
Yeah,
really.
No, that's not true. I think he cares about the cause at this point.
Yeah, I think he cares about the cause, but I think that at the end of the day, yeah.
Well, he's lost a lot.
He has. He has.
Yeah. So us two bozos aren't the only people with opinions on this show. Of course, you guys know we asked you guys your opinion on this to talk about in the Community Spotlight. Take it away.
You must feel the force around you.
So this week on the Community Spotlight, and if you'd like to get involved, I always post that prompt up on Instagram every week. Of course, the next couple weeks are going to be about Andor Season 2. And you guys had a lot of great responses. If you guys have anything you'd like to put in the chat, if you're here with us, which we thank you so much for being here live, throw it in the chat down there below. But starting off, we have our first question from Blore on Mandalore. It's honestly the change Star Wars needed to remain fresh. I am loving it so far. I agree with you.
Different type of storytelling.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate this and Skeleton Crew because of how fresh they are, how different they are.
Yeah.
Even if I have my own like little nitpicks and little gripes about how some of the beats of the story are handled, I'm so glad that Andor exists because of it's broadening the horizons of different creators and different types of storytelling and stuff. And
I think too that it, I think it gets different eyes on the property as well. Yeah.
100%. Next one up from Amana, episode 6 spiked my anxiety so good. Oh, dude. Also, you know what? The sound design of, just about to say that, of right there, that sound design.
Yes. I was about to say
Delightful.
too that she's making her hand bleed, trying to turn. And I was like, oh, what's going to happen?
It's so good.
It is.
So good. Real quick, I see here from Matthew, the Skywalker saga is myths and legends, while Andor is the reality of the galactic affairs. Yes. Yeah. I think the Skywalker saga is big picture. Yeah. Andor is small picture.
It's true. Boots on the ground. Common folk.
John Haig, John Haig, what do we think happens to Clea? I love the time we got with her in a relationship with Luthen. Ooh, I don't know. I think Clea is one that could survive. She could.
Yeah.
I think, here, let's just real quick, spell it out. Who's going out? Who's burning brightly by the end of this? For sure. I think Bix.
Bix.
She's
Luthen.
She got a death mark. Luthen, more than Bix. Yeah. Luthen is done.
Yeah. Because I think that Mon needs to rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a possibility Dedra could be.
We see her getting hurt in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or getting choked, maybe. But yeah, I think that I think Syril's definitely dead.
You think Tony's playing fast and loose with us, and that's Vader choking her out?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not even close.
Even because it's the ISB. He didn't really do much to the ISB.
I was going to say, I think that she gets put in some sort of like a like a chamber.
Or she's having an anxiety attack. Could also be the case.
She could be.
Yeah. Rhymes with egg. I see you there. John Hegg. Gotcha. Locking it in. Locking it in the noodles right here now. I think there's a possibility either one of Dedra or Syril could make it. I could see Syril maybe getting promoted and taking sort of Dedra's place. Mm-hmm. I think Dedra is more likely than Syril to not make it out.
Really? You think so?
I don't know. It's just what I'm feeling. It could definitely be different. Or both of them maybe aren't.
Well, I feel like I could see of our two power couples, if you will, of the show, each one of them losing a partner. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Dedra. It would make Syril that much more the mirror to Cassian if they both lose their people. Promoted to being on the Death Star. That could be. I could see that too. Maybe she takes Krennic's spot after Krennic dies. You know,
on the Death Star?
Yeah, it just takes like that position.
For like half a day and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You got to make do with what you got.
Say, she gets her comeuppance then.
Syril makes it and Dedra succumbs to the involvement of the Gorman massacre. See, that's almost where I'm leaning with that scene where it looks like she's getting choked. Mm-hmm. I think that after what really happens on Gorman, she's like, she can't take it. Because I don't think Dedra's all bad. Not all bad. She's not like a Krennic. She's not like a Tarkin. Don't get me wrong. She's a bad lady.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something about her that I could see some sort of face turn a little bit.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, she's all corporate. She doesn't really see the horror, you know. Yeah. It's all on paper to her, basically. Yeah. I could see Dedra and Syril being moved to unseen cogs in the system. Yeah, that could definitely happen too. For sure. All right, next up we've got from The Stranger 1977. We knew going into this far in the timeline that Saul is insane, but yikes.
I agree.
Right? Crazy. Cirque 7, Bix's transformation gave me chills. Vel's speech was brutal. They cooked. You know what? Tony's been in the kitchen. He's been in the kitchen this season. You know, he's not been phoning it in.
No.
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to Vanessa. That's funny. I'm not pulling that up, but that's funny. Ripik Tan, crushing realities and these tense moments, that listening device retrieval, Bix's revenge. I know, all highlights, man. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Well, you know what? What was your favorite moment from this arc?
I really did like Saw's speech. That was pretty sick. I love all the spy stuff. Like, I loved that whole, how there was like the 3 stores all being intertwined and everything like that. Like, that was probably one of those two.
Gotcha.
But like, again, the trying to retrieve the microphone. And then I liked the laugh it off scene where it's like, we should kill Krennic while we were up there.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun.
Actually, Settling just asked a very similar question.
We haven't even talked about too. I did like the scene where Lucen was kind of losing it. Where he's all like, we have too much intel. I can't tell any of that. Or it's like, dude, it's weighing on everybody.
Yeah.
That like, this calm and collective dude, the cool guy at the end of the elevator, or like who's standing in the elevator, like even he's having trouble keeping it together. And then how that even kind of mirrors other problems that are going on.
I mean, it's a powder keg, right?
Yeah, it is.
Settling was asking kind of a similar question. Best scene in these 3 episodes. Yeah, I would agree with you. My favorite is either the cafe scene, excellent, or the Saw Gerrera scene. I liked both of them a lot. I had more fun just sitting and hanging out with the Varian Sky stuff. Yeah. But just the Saw stuff is really stuck in my head. Yeah. And that's a sign of, I think, really good writing and storytelling when it really lingers with you, Matthew, I see that comment. I know what kind of person you are. You think about that. All right. David's movie thoughts. The tension when director Krennic showed up at the party was perfect. It was so good. Dude, that reveal, so much fun.
How he had his back turned.
Yeah. And again, fruity Krennic.
Yeah.
So good.
Yep.
Gorman was not all about spiders. So good. So much fun. Owen Anderson, enjoying this one a lot more. Can't wait for the next 3. Dude, I am absolutely hyped for the next 3. Seeing this all explode, and I'm so excited for the last 3 because I'm like, where did they go after that?
Fallout, baby.
Yeah.
Set up for Rogue One, getting everybody in place. So,
do we see K2 next week?
I think we have to, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, or they save that for Arc 3.
You mean Arc 4?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. That'd be crazy. But I get it. What?
Just Matthew there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think the scene with Krennic and Mon is my favorite so far. Also really, really good. 100% with you. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Pulling it up. I think I'm on the right one. Nope. It's the next one. Legless, Legolas. Loving it so far. I appreciate that Andor is able to treat Star Wars in such a mature way. Brother, fantastic name. Great stuff. Legless, Legolas.
Can you imagine that? Just a stump Legolas going along? Can he still...
No. A Lego Legolas.
Lego?
Yeah.
But he's legless.
Yeah.
A legless.
Which means he doesn't have legs. Legolas doesn't have legs.
But it's a Lego that doesn't have
Yeah, no,
legs.
don't forget that it's a Lego as well.
I know. That's why I'm going like this, that he's scooting along.
Yeah. Just making sure you had the Lego part. Because he was Legolas, but he's also a Lego. Legolas being Lego and legless.
That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Scooting along like because I don't have any... Yes. Like a Lego.
Like
not having any legs.
Yeah.
That's how it would move.
Yeah. Legolas, though.
Taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Hungry Bookworm. I love an espionage story, so these episodes were 10 out of 10. The stakes are getting higher. So good.
It is true. I was going to say, gosh, who doesn't love the Mission Impossible movies?
Right.
Yes.
And final one, again, let us know before we wrap the show. If you got anything else for us, we're going to be letting you know about what's going on Sunday and what's going on next week. Last question.
This Lego talks. His favors.
Last one from Katie Source.Rex. What's a direction they've gone in that surprised you? What a really good question. You know, I think what I like about this is I'm not surprised where they've taken a lot of this stuff, but that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that as a negative. It's quite, I said this at the top, this is quite predictable, but in the best way possible, because when it's predictable, I think you can play with expectations a lot more. I don't like it when you subvert for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Like, don't play with my expectations and be like, oh, you thought this was going to happen, but really this is going to happen. And it doesn't make sense, right? Mm-hmm. There are things that could do that well, but there are other things that I don't think do it well. I think that this has done a really good job. Like, point A, point B. Let's play in the in-between.
Yeah.
And that's really fun. It reminds me of, I've probably referenced this on the show at some point, but there's a quote by, I want to say it's G.R.R. Martin, where he says, like
Big George.
Yeah. Where he basically is talking about not changing something just because the audience has figured it out.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Cause you're talking about Jon Snow's heritage.
Yeah. Cause he was asked like, okay, if people figure it out in this book, do you change it in the next book to try to keep the audience on their toes? And he's like, no. That tells me that I did a good job. Like that that the audience is able to pick up, enough to know what's coming, but then I can also surprise them, just like what's happening here. I mentioned about Syril, him and Dedra are together, the stuff with Gorman, but then we get to the beginning of this arc and you're like, wait a minute, but what happened? Because you were paying attention. It's rewarding as the audience to know that. Right. Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, Katie, it's that I'm not surprised about their direction, and I'm surprised that they did that. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Hey, John Hegg there is saying, can we take a moment to appreciate Seth's boots? We got an absolutely unhinged DM about this last week.
Yes, we did. And I wish we could show it, but it's
like black speech. It's a language I dare not utter here.
It's true. We can't utter it here, but
some of the homies at home are saucy.
I was going to say someone really appreciates these. So that's all I'm saying.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just messing with you, Matthew. I just thought that was really funny. That's all. What about Vel? Where do we think she's at? I could see her going either way, either making it or not making it.
I was going to say, she is cousins to Mon Mothma.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised, Baronessa says, I'm surprised they canonized the Legends Gorman massacre and incorporated it as another atrocity, and this new massacre is so much worse. I thought that was a great choice. Like I said, paid homage to what came before. Mm-hmm. But it's pushing us also, it's building on it.
It reminds me too that it's like how, you can work things back in from Legends.
Yeah.
Like there is ways of doing it. You don't have to just wipe it away completely.
Yeah.
So
I just like that. It reminds me of stuff that Dave Filoni has said. Like if
Dave's way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if they're going to bring in something, they always look to see if that thing exists in Legends because people like Legends, you know, they like those stories.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that Tony was like, you know, this one doesn't really fit to my story, but I still want to make sure that those people are heard who know that story and appreciate that story. So it's still here. I mean, they dedicate some screen time to that, you know?
It's true. And it's important to the character of Tarkin as well. I think that when you finally see him, or when we meet him, it's like we know what kind of guy he is.
Yeah. Well, people always put the destruction of Alderaan on Darth Vader, and that always annoys me because like that was Tarkin who did that. And I mean, what a step up from landing your cruiser on all these people to,
true.
Well, how many was it? 500 people? Or was it 50? I don't remember.
I don't think it was that many people because but a ship's only so big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he related like a Star Destroyer or something. That'd be crazy.
It was like a shuttle.
Yeah. I
don't
I guess you can't really land a Star Destroyer like that. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. John says, could Luthen be a guardian of the will? We never found out he got a kyber crystal he get from Cassian in season 1. I do not think so. I think that's a fun thought, but I think I do not.
He's a dealer. He's a dealer in relics. That's why he has a kyber crystal.
He definitely wouldn't get involved. The Wills would not get involved on such silly matters as galactic civil wars. I don't think. No. They're more concerned with the, balancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Baze and Chirrut get involved, and they're guardians of the Wills.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't connecting it with that. Let me rethink your question.
Good thing I'm here.
Yeah. No. Gosh, I'm so scattered. Look at me. I'm such an idiot. I thought you meant like
an actual will.
Yeah, I was like, and I didn't want to be offensive to John here, but I'm like, what do you want, John? Thinking that Luthen is a will. Yeah. Turns out I was the one huffing the Rhino here. A guardian of the will. Excuse me.
Guardian of the will.
Good question, but probably not. I think I'm with Seth that like he's just a dealer in relics. He might have encountered them before though. Yeah. That'd be interesting to see something like that, right? But my bad. That was my fault. Hey, hello there, Star Wars Closet. Big fan over here. Love the set and the vibes. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Appreciate that. This guy right here. It's all this guy.
What?
You could say, exactly. It's all you. I mean, like,
what does all be?
This.
Oh, no, dude, you helped me paint the wall.
I helped you do it, but you were like, hey, I got an idea. And then I was like, okay, I can help decorate. But like, yeah, you were the one, you were the spark that ignited it.
Listen,
so yeah.
You guys who love Seth's boots, we wouldn't have that. If Seth if I would have listened to Seth, because Seth, I've been on Seth about getting a rug, and he's been like, "You're an idiot. You don't need a rug." And I'm like,
that's what I'm talking about.
We can't have the full the composition, Seth, doesn't work without the rug.
Yeah.
Okay. He wasn't getting full picture. Yeah. So, but now that I'm like, you know what, Seth, I'm not listening to you. I'm getting a rug. Yeah. And he's like, I don't see it. Well, you know what? Now the homies at home that send us salacious messages about your boots. Yeah. It's because of the rug.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying again. So he deserves all the thanks.
Yeah. Not that you guys needed to know that story, but there you go.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys, wrap it up. Great arc, fun stuff. It was fun hanging out with you guys. As always, you guys make this fun. You know what?
500 people while parking the ship.
Would I miss that?
It says it right there. Yeah. Read that. It was 500 people when you were parking a ship.
So it was 500.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was. Thank you, Captain Mike. Appreciate you. Proving Seth wrong. Okay. Those boots are incredible. Look at that.
Thanks. I mean, I don't know. I wore them for my wedding.
Baronessa. Fact. I see it, but I'm not. That's even pales in comparison. Some of you guys, like I said,
it's just supposed to look like Seth Solo. That's all it is. It's like
fun fact. I cannot find any boots. I've never been able to find boots. But like when we do Jedi stuff, none fit me. None. Yeah. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
I'd like cool boots.
Yeah.
I'm just not blessed to have the drip, I guess.
The camera can't tell, but like, you are a very tall guy. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Yeah.
Here, while I'm riffing, you guys want to hear a funny story? So, I am taller than Seth. Okay.
Are you talking about that?
If you guys didn't know. So
he's much taller than me.
When we do, so you're going to get a peek behind the curtain here. When we do some of the
peeks behind the curtain.
I know I do. I was getting on you all about this last week.
Hey, Darth Maul's showing up.
Is he?
Flashback to me. Dun, dun. You see him?
Yeah, I see him. So anyway, I was when I edit the skits, I'll run them by my wife sometimes. And I'll be like, hey, what do you think of this? Does this flow well? You know?
Yeah.
And we were doing one, and she's like, what is wrong with this shot? It was just a shot of you, but it was an over the shoulder shot from me. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like he's fine. Well, what's wrong? She's like, he just looks so tiny. What's wrong? Like, what is it? Because she knew I use VFX. She's like, did you make him smaller? I'm like, no, we're actually standing together. Like I'm actually, she's like,
it's just perspective.
Is he that much shorter than you? I'm like, he's not that much shorter than me, but I can see what you'd think. Cause in the shot, it's like my arm is here and your head is right here.
It looks like I only come up to your chest.
So Seth isn't that much shorter than me, but so there you go.
Yeah. I am.
Seth's talking about dwarfs. I think he was,
I'm infamously short. Like I'm just like, I'm not very tall.
Yeah, short king energy. Over him, you know what I mean?
Is that it?
How tall am I? I'm like 6'2". I don't know. Maybe 6'1". I'm not like, that tall.
But then when you compare it to me,
he's like 5'1". So it's like when we're both together,
it's crazy.
I don't know what it is. Like I said, it's the Rido.
It's like Princess Bride. It's like Andre the Giant and Wesley fighting each other. You just like throw me around. Yeah.
Yep, something like that. See, there's an illusion on the set. See how we have the same height here?
Yeah,
it's just an illusion.
It's true.
Everything on the set is an illusion.
I am. I'm much closer to the frame.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
He actually is. No joke.
I'm much closer to the frame.
There's another fun thing. Just while I'm revealing secrets, I won't reveal it all. But there's a big illusion happening behind Seth to make everything look bigger.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I like playing with that kind of stuff. It's a good time. So anyway. Thanks for the vibes, y'all. So I was going to say before I got off on that wild tangent that whoever up here was talking about vibes, you guys bring the vibes. There it is. Star Wars Closet. Love the set and the vibes. You guys bring the vibes.
It's true. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
We're just hanging out. Mm-hmm. We're just hanging out. Yeah. Speaking of the vibes, Sunday is May the 4th, and we are getting a whole new Star Wars show. And I imagine that with the Tales series, it's going to be an hour, something like that. So we thought, why not? We'll do a little watch party with y'all. Be a good time. So if you want to wait, I know it's asking a lot of you guys, the homies at home, to wait and watch Tales of the Underworld with us. It's going to be 7 p.m. EST.
It's going to be our first time watching it. We're not going to watch it before.
No, I'm not.
Okay. We'll just go in. Let's watch it.
If you guys would like to hang out, I mean, you of course can watch it and then come hang out with us. Fortunately, we can't do like a midnight drop or something like that. But 7 p.m. Come hang out. Yeah. We'll all chill and watch Tales of the Underworld. See what Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress are up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite bounty hunters.
Don't spoil it by watching it on Fortnite. Crazy. What's up with Fortnite and Star Wars? Can they get over that?
It's awesome, man. Palpatine's got a gun.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
It's true. It's true.
Yes. So there we go. Vision season 3. That's going to be fun. That's October, by the way. And I just saw Duel of the Kates. That's your 4th wedding anniversary. May the 4th is your wedding anniversary. That's awesome. Yeah. That's really cool.
Maybe you'll spend it with us.
Oh my gosh. That's so fun. It is. It's like I'm Gandalf and Seth is a hobbit. And so he's over there, he's actually like 6 feet closer to the camera. If you can believe it.
It's true.
It's such like, I get such headaches when I'm doing this. Cause when I'm looking right here, I'm looking way past him.
It's true. I'm 5'1". On a good day.
On a good day.
On a good day.
Like legally.
Yes.
He's
my driver's license.
Oh my goodness. Thank you all for being here. We will see you on Sunday. We're not going to see you on Sunday. We will of course see you next Friday, same Dune time, same Dune channel to watch the next arc of Andor season 2. We'll look forward to seeing you guys next time.